Hey YouTube, this is maybe going to be a bit of a ramble, but I wanted to talk a little bit about shopping for clothing as someone who doesn't shop for clothing. In one of my recent videos, I talked about how I've been figuring out my personal style using a book called the Curated Closet Workbook, which works really well for me and my brain and the way I like to logic and organize things. So I've been working through that, and I finally got to the point where I'd identified the specific items that I'm looking for high, medium, and low priority. So what is my shopping list? And I psyched myself up for a trip to the mall. So if you follow me on Instagram, which you should, Avery Fawcett, same spelling as my channel name, so just at Avery Fawcett on Instagram. But I posted to my Instagram story the saga of my trip to the mall. I have not been to a mall, not like a real, like, we have kind of a mall in Silver Spring, but I haven't been to a real big mall in probably 10 or 15 years. I mean, a long time. As somebody who gets easily overwhelmed by stimulation, and as someone who is not 15, malls can be a bit much. Also as someone who is vegan, because food court options, kind of iffy. But I had been making this plan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the Wheaton Mall. It's 2 metro stops away from me. It supposedly had a vegan pizza place, which I was really excited about. That closed, so that was disappointing. Instead I had some warm, not very good veggie sushi when I needed a food break. But anyway, I went to the mall and I kind of had a list of specific items that I wanted to buy. So I wanted to get 2 or 3 comfy tops that are both comfy and kind of jazzy. I mean, kind of like, they just don't look like faded t-shirts, you know? And probably like a couple in black, maybe one in a color. I wanted to get a couple more pairs of black leggings so that I can wear skirts and dresses more often. In the winter anyway. I wanted to get so I was also thinking ahead. I'm going on a nerd cruise in a few weeks. So if anybody's gonna be on Joko cruise, let me know, because I'll be there. But I realized, oh shoot, like it's probably gonna be pretty warm in the Caribbean. So maybe I need to also think about summer. So I was gonna try to find like some flattering black shorts and a black halter top. I like halter tops. Maybe some fun light scarves if they were cheap, and a little more on the back burner, kind of have an eye out for black or gray pants with either a pinstripe or a kind of the like wide check. I've seen them called editor pants a lot. I don't know if that's really a term, but anyway. So I had this list in my head, and as you'll know if you follow my Instagram, it did not go quite as well as I had hoped. My plan had been to go to Target as like a very solid, steady, like, I bet I can get the comfy black tops there. I bet I can get plain black shorts there. And when I arrived at the mall, I poked into a couple of shops kind of as I was walking towards Target. So I tried Charlotte Russe, where I actually worked for like 3 weeks in college. It was not a positive experience. But I popped into Charlotte Russe, I popped into Express, and maybe I kind of peaked a New York & Company, but since there's a New York & Company right where I live, I was like, okay, noted, this might actually be a good one to come back to, but I'm not going to spend a lot of my spoons there. So I popped into each of these shops, and like, first of all, just those small kind of fashion stores, like, very quickly learned that a 14 is plus size, which I did not know. I feel like that number keeps going lower and lower. Not that there's anything wrong with plus size, of course, but many of these stores don't carry plus size, and so I kept being like, oh, I'll try on a 12, and it was like, no, way too tight. So there was that, and I was like, all right, I think let's continue on to Target. Like, let's get a confidence boost. I'll probably find a number of things to try on. Oh my god, I found myself just wandering around Target, like not really able to find what I wanted. Oh, I also was thinking like if I could find some like yoga pants or like palazzo pants, something kind of flowy. So I went to the athletic section. Apparently yoga pants no longer a thing. And then like I wandered into the clearance area, which I'm just learning that as much as clearance, like you can find something awesome. It's sort of like thrift store shopping. You have to go through so many racks. And it was just like, no, I can't do this. I need to like see the thing easily displayed. So I kind of rifled through a little, but then I quickly went to the main part. And I figured out that Target apparently is much less like basics than I remembered them being. Like there was not a single pair of plain black shorts. Maybe it's too early, but no halter tops to speak of. I ended up buying actually swimsuit pieces, which is good. Like I realized, you know, I plan to spend a lot of this cruise in the hot tub, so maybe I should have more than one swimsuit. So I got a couple of black shorts. By the way, if you are somebody who is like either on the gender nonconforming side or you just like having shorts for your swimsuit, Target has a pretty decent range of black swim shorts, from like more kind of male boxer style to like short little shorts or like a little short and skirt situation. So pretty good range, and some of them have a pocket, which is nice. I like having a pocket in my swimsuit. So that was cool, but like not what I was there for. And then wandering around, it was like, okay, they had kind of different lines, I guess. This is where we get into like, I'm not used to clothes shopping. So apparently there's this concept of particular lines within Target that cater to different styles. And this is where I started getting this frustration of, you know, I'm not particularly interested in jumping onto seasonal trends. I like my clothes to last at least a few years. A lot of my clothes have lasted like 15, 20 years. I don't expect that necessarily, but if it happens, it doesn't hurt. So some of the, like, I don't know if these are trends or this is just what people do, but one of the things I learned from going through the style exercises in the Curated Closet workbook, which are really useful if you don't know anything about style, is I started to learn some of the terms and what I like and don't like, which was invaluable in this experience because I was able to very quickly rule things out. So for example, I know that I do not like a short top, like I need the top to go below my waist. I know the kinds of sleeves I like. Like for example, I did acquire this dress with these, I love bell sleeves, I love flowy sleeves. I like 3/4 sleeves, but what I do not like is this trend where it's like a cuff. So it's like flowy, but then it stops at a cuff. So it kind of goes like this. I do not like that. I do not understand that. There's a lot of like weird kind of, I shouldn't say weird. If you like this stuff, it's cool. But there's like a lot of shirts that have kind of that same idea. It's like a billow and then a stop. And it's just not my style. I noticed that I'm very sensitive to textures, and so there were just certain synthetic fabrics that just didn't feel good on my skin, or certain cotton fabrics that just felt too kind of schlumpy for what I was going for. And so I kept ruling things out. You know, I did find a couple of items. Like I said, I got some swimsuits at Target, and I got this one kind of goldenrod yellow skirt, which I did a poll on my Instagram, like, does this color work? And nope, I don't think very many people responded, but if you saw that, I did get that skirt, and I think that it is a fun skirt. And maybe I got one other thing. But anyway, Target was not the, like, standby sure bet that I was hoping it would be. And so I kept going, popped in to look at sneakers at a shoe store, and then was very surprised that JCPenney ended up being the place. Because I remember, so when I was growing up, we mostly shopped at TJ Maxx, but JCPenney was like a little bit of a level up from that. But I was always just like, oh, it's a mom store. Maybe it's that I'm the age of a lot of moms, I don't know. But I found that actually JCPenney had a lot more of what I was looking for. So this dress, like things like this that are kind of flowy, it's synthetic, but the like stretchy synthetic fabric that I like, or just like really soft cotton. So yeah, and same idea where it's like in these collections that I couldn't quite figure out. I kept being like, that's great, that's actually maternity, or that's great, that's actually petite, or whatever. But I'm 5'8", I can't wear petite. But as I was like wandering around, I did end up with quite an armful of things to try on. And I think more than half of them worked. So I did end up with, I mean, I don't know, like 2 dresses, I think, a top, a kind of like long sweater thing, so a number of things. So in that case, like that experience was better because I had an idea of what I was looking for, and the store had some of the kinds of things I was looking for. So they had the flowy tops, they had a lot actually of, I put in my style workbook, I want a flowy thing, but I couldn't define that. But as I was looking at pictures of fashion and deciding what I liked, a lot of them were like a fitted shirt with a kind of longer flowy piece. So whether that's like a sweater or a duster jacket or a cape or a poncho, like whatever, something flowy. I want to incorporate more of those. So I did find one long gray sweater and one poncho that's like a knit plaid gray and black situation. That was another thing that I observed about shopping, is that I didn't have, color palette wise, it was really hard for me to be like, this is my signature palette. I'm like, no, I'm open to everything. But I found that was actually a good thing, because I could look for things based on fit and cut, and then whatever the color was, be like, I don't know, does this color work for me? So I ended up with more gray than I expected. And I'm like, yeah, I really actually liked like gray, black, white, like that area. So now I'm kind of looking for more gray pieces to make that work. Anyway, rambling. But today I decided to go to TJ Maxx to just see if they had anything to add on to what I'd already got. And I did find them more useful for the comfy top. I ended up deciding that like maybe my comfy tops don't have to be super fancy looking, because I can layer them. So if I've got a black t-shirt that's like a V that I like the look of, if I put that long gray sweater over it, it works. So obviously I've heard of layering before, but layering is pretty cool. If you don't do it, it will very quickly zhuzh up an outfit that was otherwise kind of boring. So yeah, got a couple things. But the point of this video is not just like, here's what my shopping experience was, but I think it's really interesting the way shopping can teach you about the specifics of what you would like and don't like. And so if you're doing this kind of thing, one, I was very strict with, I basically used KonMari, like, does this spark joy? If this does not make me happy, like, I put on this dress and another red dress I got, and I was just like, yee! So if I did this, like, then, or I just was like, yeah, that looks really good on me, then I would get it. If I was kind of like, well, this could work, then no. Like, so that's one thing, is just being very sure that, like, I'm not walking out of the store with anything that I'm on, because it'll just end up getting tossed out at another KonMari. So that helped. And then, yeah, I think you, like, based on what those meh are, you can very quickly, and I think they say this in the curated closet, you can very quickly figure out deal breakers for you, things that, like, things that work and don't work. Like, for example, I like bell sleeves, and this I like because the pattern, you can't really see the seam very clearly. But what I don't like is if it's like a solid color or something and it's a very clear, like, doop, and then bigger. I like the kind of overall flow. So that's a very specific thing where I figured out, okay, I like bell sleeves, but only this kind of bell sleeve. Similarly, like, I like cowl necks. I can't do actual turtlenecks. And being able to be firm in that means that I have a very clear idea of what I want. But it is frustrating, because when you have a very clear idea of what you want and the store doesn't carry it, you're like, ah. And I did start looking a little bit today online, because there was a specific item that I was looking for, and I just kept being like, oh, this was perfect, but it's sold out. This is out of stock now. This is no longer on trend. And of course, you can't feel things. If you get them online, you have to go through the hassle of returns, which I usually don't do, and I end up having stuff that I don't really want. So, all that to say, I think it's worth it. Like, if you're not somebody who does much clothes shopping, or if you're somebody who like just marches into the store like, I need an item and I'm gonna walk out with an item even if I don't love it, it's not a bad idea to set aside some time and do a dedicated trip and be a little more strict with yourself about what you walk out of the store with, because even if you don't find much or anything that you want, it does help you to better understand different things that you like and different terms. And if you can't figure, if it doesn't say on the tag, you know, what the term is, you can kind of look it up and start to get a vocabulary of what you're looking for. So then if you do shop online, you can find it really easily. And even if you don't, you can ask somebody in the store if they carry blah blah blah, or just keep an eye on like, oh, if you know, Calnex or whatever go on trend, then great, like it's a good time to go shopping because you like that. So yeah, I think I underestimated the degree of like understanding and knowledge that is required to really do clothes shopping in a way that makes you walk out happy. But I am finding it kind of fun and nerdy. I guess it is hitting the part of my brain that is like, I like categorization and curation. It is my favorite thing. I'm a secret wannabe librarian. So, yeah. That's how I feel. If you found this interesting, let me know. Because I would be happy to do more videos about this topic, or as I go along my learning about clothes journey. If you have your own stories to share, definitely leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.